Alright, and welcome to Drinking with Ray, Italiano style, Italiana style. Vino Rosso is what I'm liking in Italy. We have one of the first types of record players ever, the RCA Victor behind me here. And let's try some wine and talk about the history of wine. Some of the long, illustrious history. I don't have a wine glass, so I know this is kind of sacrilege, but a wine snob is definitely not what I am. So let's give this a try. This comes from the incredible area of Almafi Coast, one of the most beautiful places I've probably ever seen in my life, and real popular tourist resort destination. Boating area. Woo! Whoa! That's really flavorful and good. Costa di Almafi. Tramonti from Giuseppe Apicella. Woo! That's good. Oh, one thing is I can't quite read any of the Italian on the back. I know a few words, but anyway, 12.5% volume. Golden State. I come from a pretty famous wine region of the world, Napa Valley, Paso Robles, actually in the Central Coast is really good too. Napa Valley in the Bay Area, but Italy has the most wine producing regions and wineries in the world, even more than France. So I like wine. It's a nice, tasty thing. One interesting thing I realized about wine, it gives you crazy dreams, man. I don't know what's the connection with that, and other alcohols don't, but all right, well, before starting to talk about Italian wine, Italy's the world's largest producer of wine, like I said. Let's talk about the very long history of wine. This is a long time coming, where I needed to make this video, so let's do it. About to head down to Sicily. I'm in Naples right now. Was in Rome the past couple days on a little trip, exploring history. Met the Pope Francis. Cheers, Pope Francis. The blood of Christ. Red wine, right? All right. The earliest known traces of wine come from about 9,000 BC. So the first places that made wine from grapes, ancient China, of course. China, man, they have a long, proud, incredible history. They were making wine out of grapes around 7,000 BC. Georgia. Okay, I'm sorry, not 9,000 BC. Georgia in 6,000 BC made the first kind of wine that's more similar to like what we have now. The kind in China actually was a mix of fermented grapes and rice. Ooh, okay, so that's a little different. But they found that in China, and like old rice and grape mixed based fermented drink was found in China. Woo! Okay, so the earliest form of all grape wine is from the country of Georgia in the Caucasus Mountains, in between the Black and Caspian Seas. I heard that's a really cool place, actually. Not far from here. I don't have my map. Oh well. Not the state of Georgia, the country of Georgia. So, they found some vases there that had some wine in it, and there's some other things. Let's see here. Southern Caucasus, around Armenia and modern Azerbaijan. Eastern Turkey and northern Iran, 6,000 to 5,800 BC. Whoa! The birthplace of wine. That's incredible. So that region is the first makers of wine. Interesting. Wine gets close to Iran, 5,000 BC. Yeah, Iran. Ooh. So wine gets close by to here. Sicily, they found some evidence. Where I'm going next. Ooh, man, the longest wine culture in the modern country of Italy, 4,000 BC. The earliest written record of a winery is in actually Armenia from 4100 BC. Whoa, that's awesome, man. Talk about drinking with the ancients, drinking with history, drinking with Ray. Hey, yeah. We're having some Vino Rosso here. So, different places. Ancient history, we're making wine. The Phoenicians, who originated in what is now Lebanon, that spread out all across the Mediterranean, had wine. Egyptians in the Old Kingdom had wine. The Phoenicians went all over North Africa bringing their wine, and different places. Let's see, Persepolis in Babylon had wine, and the Achaemenid kings. Oh man, this is ancient stuff. This is one of the oldest drinks. Mead is actually a little older, but this one's old. Maybe the second oldest. Ooh, man, that's a good red. I don't claim to be an expert on wine, and it's not my thing of choice, but I'll drink it. It's nice. Makes you feel classy, right? Oh, if only I had a wine glass. I've been to some nice wineries in the world. Gonna have to make sure we go to one in Sicily. I didn't get to one here in Campania, unfortunately. Ran out of time. So there was mentions of wine in the Homer, not Homer Simpson, Homer, the Greek writings, some other things, ancient Egypt, King Tut had a royal chief vintner mentioned in the hieroglyphics. King Tut, what? That's incredible. The Egyptians also had beer too, like pretty close to modern beer. And traces of wine has also been found in Xinjiang in modern day China. Ooh, that's Western China. That's Central Asia, similar to Central Asian places like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and all the Stan countries, then the rest of China proper, really, but it's a part of the country of China. India had some wine in the 500s BC also. The ancient Romans planted vineyards near garrison towns so wine could be produced rather than shipped over long distances. So everywhere the Romans went, they planted vineyards. They even grew it in Britain, which is incredible. French wine was big, as it still is. Monks in France. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is before Christianity, when wine started. So the Greeks were into wine. People from all over the ancient world. I wonder how it just got passed down by word of mouth. Probably was thought of as some kind of elixir from the gods. The Greek and Roman, I'm going to need another glass, it was so good. The Greek and Roman god, Dionysus was the god of wine. That's a good god, I like that. The god of drinks. All right, so Italian wine, let's move on to that. So, okay, in Italy, Etruscans, who were northern Italian, amazing culture that had a bunch of awesome artwork and everything, they produced wine. Around Italy, and also the Greeks that had colonies, like right here it was called Neapolis, and several other places like Cumae and Syracuse and different places around modern day Italy. They planted wine vineyards. And the Romans by the 300s had their own vineyards also, 300s BC. So Vintus vinifera is how you say it in Latin. The wine's best. The grapes originally made for wine. Greek colonization of Italy brought it here though. So it spread to the Etruscans from the Greeks. Okay, so they got introduced to Sicily, the Mycenaean Greeks, extensive colonization around 800 BC. It was during the Roman defeat of the Carthaginians. Ooh, that's a big battle. Carthage is where modern day Tunisia was. That was a big power. They had masters of winemaking also because of those Phoenicians I talked about. They're related to the Phoenicians. And large-scale slave-run plantations in the 2nd century BC were beginning to flourish in Italy, and into the empire they got even bigger. Well, thank you for the slaves. The Roman Empire, though, it's not like the modern concept. Everyone thinks of slaves connected with a certain race. Everyone was slaves in the Roman Empire, of all races. And if you got conquered, no matter where you were from, or captured or something, you were a slave. Even probably Romans became slaves. That's good. So slavery wasn't a racial thing. That was only a more modern concept in colonial Europe times, unfortunately. That still causes problems to this day. Oh man, this is a whole nother video. I'm kidding. So the Roman wineries were slave work. But the emperors and... Oh man, I forgot about a famous wine drinker. Let's go back a little bit into the BCs. Alexander the Great, who conquered huge swath of the world. The Greek Macedonian king, general, young man, died early. Partially, they think, because of his extreme taste for wine. He started going crazy late in his conquering days, and he would have like these contests where they would drink tons of wine and like just get crazy drunk, and after like brutal battles against like elephants in India and all kinds of crazy stuff, taking over Babylon and Egypt. And Alexander the Great liked his wine, and many other people in the history. Julius Caesar probably loved his wine. I keep bending over because I'm getting bit by mosquitoes on my lower legs, man. Italy mosquitoes. Okay, cheers. Salute. Let's finish this story about ancient wine. I won't get too much into the modern world of wine with all its companies and lust and glamour and pompous attitudes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's not really my thing, man. That's not what Drinking with Ray is all about. It's more talk about history and taste some nice drinks. This is from a pretty fancy place area, though. Almafi. This bottle wasn't that expensive, though. 2016. Oh man, 2016. My life was completely different. I was in college still, as an older college student, going back to finish my degree. I was working in the food industry, totally different than I am now. Living in Portland, Oregon. That's having all kinds of problems right now. Don't need to get into that. Yeah, man. 4 years aged. That's pretty good. Pretty good. It tastes amazing, actually. It's a good wine. All right. Emperor Domitian. When there was problems in the empire, had to destroy. Oh, that's too bad. Destroy a lot of vineyards to free up land for food production because the empire started getting so big and populous, especially the city of Rome. During this time, viniculture, the making of wine outside of Italy, was prohibited at one point in the empire. Ooh, that's weird. Exports to the provinces were reciprocated in exchange for more slaves, especially from Gaul, modern-day France. According to Pliny the Elder, because the inhabitants tended to drink Italian wine unmixed and without constraint. Oh, I'm glad I read that part. So, the Roman wine actually was really strong. Like, they think it was like 30%, maybe, or up to 30%. Unlike this, which is 12.5%. They had different techniques then. So they actually added water to it to like make it so it doesn't get you that crazy drunk. And people that were considered barbarians, one of their barbarian attributes was that they would drink the wine straight and not mix it with anything. Yeah, I like drinking things straight too. I guess I'm a barbarian. But yeah, most proper Romans added a little water to their wine in these days. So The laws were lessened, though. I guess this was just one time in the 90s AD, maybe. And wine was allowed to be grown in all parts of the empire. So wine in France started to be grown, especially. And also Hispania, and French and Spanish wines are famous to this day. That was the origin of those vineyards, I guess. And it also was all over the empire in Italy, of course. Probably Almafi, maybe these grapes here. And Pompeii. I went to Pompeii a couple weeks ago, and they have a spot where their vineyard was, where they're growing grapes again. That was really cool, actually. Original. So these ancient vines, man. Ancient places where they made wine. Thousands of years old, drinking wine in Rome like the Romans do. Oh man, I like it. So let's see, the ancestor of Cabernets. Ooh, all right. These vineyards became so successful that Italy ultimately became an import center for provincial wines. Okay, so Italy shifted from making the bulk of it to importing it from other places in the empire. Nice. Modern Italy now is the world's largest or second largest wine producer. All right, so it flips with France here and there, and other big importers are from the U.S., Australia. Okay, well, interesting history. Thanks for drinking with Ray. Subscribe, tell your friends, have a drink with Ray. Check out my Facebook and Instagram. See the world with Ray. Instagram is Ray RAY.Z.A. My old nickname, keeping it to this day. Why not? Italian wine is very nice. This one is excellent, actually. Costa di Amalfi, Diminuzione di Origine Controlla. So one really cool thing about wine is it's specific to the geography and the time when the grapes were grown. So time and space, the soil, the volcanic activity in the area, the altitude, the water from the rain for the year, the sunshine for the year, the pests, the bugs that are around, all kinds of things contribute to how a glass and a bottle of wine taste from a certain spot on the planet, from a certain time of year, each year, all throughout history. Every wine from a specific place, from a specific time, is unique to that moment and place. Very cool. Geography and history. Vino Rosso from Napoli. This is from Almafi, which is nearby, just down the coast, down that way a little bit. Salute. Ciao.